On one of today's dog walks on the beach, I picked this up. It's the remnants of a lobster claw. Now it's been cooked because it's red, so somebody must have eaten this on the beach. But look at the size of that. What sort of monstrous lobster must this have come from? And what have you got to do to get your hands on one of these? When you're looking for seafood, this is the type of place to come. Look, I can see a smokehouse over there. Callan shellfish. And over here we've got Namara seafoods. I'm hoping this is going to be the place where I'm going to find one of those massive lobsters. Let's see. Now I've got a couple of creels. I live in Newcastle.
Oh, right.
And I have a couple of creels out just outside the mouth of the River Tyne. And I often tax them, but I mean the ones I get are minimum size.
Yeah. There's a crayfish here and all.
There's a crayfish as well, yeah.
Very spicy.
Are they as common? No, it's common to are they? I don't know which one to go for. How about this one's got a massive claw here. I like the look of him.
This one?
Yeah, I'll go for that one. Wow. Look at that monster. So I got hold of my giant lobster. I'm extremely happy about it. It was £30, and to be honest, that's a bargain because it's just the biggest lobster I've ever seen in my life. I cannot wait to get chow down on that. And in the meantime, got these massive crab claws to have for lunch. God, it tastes so sweet. The meat is so sweet. Look at you. Look at the mounds of scallop shells. I just pulled over to grab a bit of seaweed. I figure a few handfuls of this will make my lobster a little bit happier. What have we got in here, Carla? No, I'll put some seaweed on top. You'll be a lot happier in there for the rest of the day. Okay, so Carla and I are back on the machair. She's down here waiting, lying happily in the sunshine. We're going to make a loaf of bread for lunch, and to accompany the lobster that I got hold of yesterday, I've kept my the lobster claw that I found on the beach. I'm going to compare it to my lobster to see how I've done. Hopefully I've managed to wash all the sand out of this. I'm running a little bit low on water. I think it looks good. Just going to use these scissors to chop this up. So So this is dulse. It's a type of seaweed that it's actually got a lovely flavour, and I've had it in a couple of dishes this week and I've really enjoyed it. It goes really well with garlic. And I would be tempted to put garlic into this bread, but I'm going to be doing a garlic butter for my lobster, so I don't want everything to be garlicky. I like a bit of variety. It's beautiful stuff, this. It's a fabulous colour in the sunlight. So next, here we've got the starter that I prepared last night. So that was a wheat sourdough starter with barley flour. Looks good. Again, I think the prudent move here would be to roll the sleeves up. So, strong wheat flour, and I'm going to put in about 60-40 ratio, so 60 flour and 40 starter. That might do actually. Maybe that's closer to 50-50. Next, some salt. Now, the last bread that I made, I did a barley bannock. I didn't actually put enough salt in. That was the one thing it was a little lacking in salt. I assumed that the dulse would give it more saltiness. That looks nice. So this time I've warmed my water up slightly. Shouldn't need to add too much because there's such a lot of starter in here and it's quite a wet starter. Just bring it together carefully and slowly because I want to try and keep it on the board. This is where the scraper's your friend. It's coming nicely together. Beautiful morning this morning. The sunshine is really warm. It's a real treat in September to get some warm sunshine on your face. Okay, I think we're getting somewhere with this, so I'll sprinkle a little bit more flour on it and then I'll give it a good knead. It's always a good idea before you start to knead that you clean your fingers down. Ideally wash them. Dough has a habit of sticking to dough, so if you've got dough on your fingers, the dough on the board's definitely going to end up all over your hands. Probably we're not going to need all that. I think that'll do. It's quite a sticky dough, but then it's got a lot of barley in, so I'm figuring that's why. I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to work well. Smaller bit's going to be like a little tester. So after burning the last loaf of bread I made in the Dutch oven, I'm going to use this as a little test piece, maybe a sacrificial piece, who knows. To stop our dough from drying out and forming a crust as it rises, I'm just going to put a little bit of olive oil on one of these plastic bags and just use that as a sheet over the top. I'll leave that for an hour or two and see how it goes. It's relatively warm today, so it should rise relatively quick. Because I fed the starter, or I created the starter last night, that started the whole fermentation of the bread. So by the time I've made the dough at this stage here, the starter's very advanced. Here we've got my lobster. Ooh. Still very much feisty and alive. God, he's a big specimen. Well, actually, I think it's a female. Yeah, because look, it's got a wide tail for carrying eggs. She's a big girl. Weighs a ton. So I'm sorry, old lady. This is the circle of life. So I'm going to dispatch her. The way to dispatch a lobster is basically, if you look at this line here on the top of the head, you put a tip of a really sharp knife into there and just cut straight forward, and it cuts straight through the brain and kills it instantly. Takes all the spinal cord out as well. She's an old girl, you know, look how beautiful and blue her tail is. She's got the barnacles on. She's obviously had this shell for a good while. I mean, it's a sad thing because she's such a fine specimen, but you know, in the sea everything eats everything, and we as humans, well, we're animals too, and we're the top of the food chain. And I guess if you come to a place like this and you get an opportunity to eat something like this, well, I love food and I'm certainly going to do her justice. Anyway, I'll stop waffling on. I'm going to dispatch her. I'll be cutting her in half, and I'm going to grill her on the, I should stop calling her because that's a bit wrong. I'm going to grill it on the barbecue. So let's do what we've got to do. Bread is definitely showing signs of life. Don't think it's going to be too much longer before this is ready. When you're trying to shape a bowl, what you want to do is use the flat of your hand, the bottom part of your hand, to just turn the bread around and just tuck the bottom underneath itself. It gives you like a nice proud round shape that sits up, and it's less prone to just go flat like this. This bread's quite slack, so it will relax, but it's also going to be cooked in the Dutch oven, so it's going to take on the shape of the pot that I'm cooking it in. Quite happy with this, it's going well. So, in the meantime, I'm going to get on with preparing lunch. Picked up a couple of kippers as well, by the way. I'm going to compare them to see how they taste to my own homemade kippers. There we go, garlic. So I'm going to make a garlic butter for the lobster and also for the scallops that I got yesterday. unfortunately I don't have any fresh herbs, so for a bit of colour I'm chopping up a bit of spinach. So the way I'm going to cook my lobster is I'm going to cut it in half, and I'm going to rub this mixture over the top of each side. I'm going to grill it meat side down on the barbecue for just 2 or 3 minutes, and that'll cook all the garlic through, because I don't want to have raw garlic because that'll just overpower everything. So then to add the butter, when I flip the lobster over, I'll just put the butter on top and that'll melt. It'll melt into this and it'll become a lovely buttery sauce. I did the deed with the lobster. It went well, it went quickly. So here we've rubbed our mixture on. I've seasoned it with just a pinch of sea salt, a few sea salt flakes. I've rubbed the garlic really well into the meat. So the idea is that when I turn it over onto the barbecue, it doesn't all fall out. But it looks beautiful, it smells amazing. Next I'm just going to chop a little bit of onion, just to go with the scallops that I've got. Store that in this shell just now. What we'll do, we'll just cook that through slightly with butter, just to take the rawness off it. Just warm it through. Here's the Namara fresh Hebridean scallop meat. This was £6 for this little box, and I think that's really good value. There's half a kilo, no there's not, there's a quarter of a kilo, 250 grams of scallop meat in there. Well, that's pretty good for £6. And you get this handy little tub. Beautiful scallops. Look how thick and chunky they are. Beautiful king scallops. And we'll season these up with a few sea salt flakes. I'll also give them a twist of pepper as well, because I do like pepper on my scallops. Beautiful. There we go. I mean, they look fantastic. rubbed it with just a smear of olive oil this time. This time I'm going to have a lot less of the coals on the bottom. So we'll give that a preheat. It'll get nice and hot. And then I'll heap the rest of the coals up on the top. It's actually good, it's sitting just up off the bottom of the coals, so I think that'll be good. There, now it's just in contact with the coals, that should be perfect. Okay, so here's the dough. It's looking really good. It's risen nicely. You can usually tell when a bread's ready if you poke your finger into it like that, and the indentation that your finger causes stays there. So as you can see, that is ready. So I'm just gonna unattach it from the bottom a little bit. I'm not even going to bother doing the little test bake with this little piece because, well, the fire's ready, so I'm not going to mess around. I'm going to slash this loaf though. When you slash a loaf, you create weak points in the seam of it, and that allows the steam inside to vent out so it doesn't become all misshapen and swollen. Just going to sprinkle a little bit of the barley meal over it just to make it a bit more easy to handle, so it doesn't stick to me when I'm lifting it into the pot. These coals up on the top. Okay, that looks good. Let's hope for the best. I'm just gonna have a quick sneaky peek. It's been 10 minutes and I'm conscious of not burning the bottom, but wow, the top looks amazing so far. Oh great, that's going well. There's obviously loads of life in that dough because it's jumped a lot. Okay, so I've increased the top heat considerably by putting some live coals on. Just lift the whole thing off. Is it on there? Yeah. Okay. There we go. It has caught the bottom again in one of the corners, and it's a little bit pale on the top, but it's cooked through. I'm going to put it back in and let the rest of the coals just burn away on the top, and it might colour the top a little bit more, but other than this section it's getting better. Burn away and then we'll get the lobster on. Probably should have remembered to take the elastic bands off first. Here goes the butter. I have to say I'm very pleased with this bread. Look at the beautiful texture it's got. It's nice and open, it's got some gelatinization, it's lovely and stretchy. and it's moist, and the taste, subtle taste of seaweed is absolutely fabulous. The texture is fantastic, and the crust is lovely. Even though I burnt it a little bit at the bottom, I don't mind. That's fantastic. I'm so happy with that. So, lunch is served. Well, I can't say I'm unhappy with the way this has turned out. This is going to be quite the lunch. Tomatoes from the backyard. Scallops and lobster from the Hebrides. And bread from the campfire. And it really is really nice bread. I love it. Scallops are so sweet. More firepower, I may have to smash this on a stone. Oh man, it looks so good. Just cooked to perfection. Look at that beautiful white meat. Oh wow. 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 What a bliss. What a bliss to eat a meal like this. Let's try the tail. Oh, wow. It's really barbecued. Atlantic Hebridean lobster, king scallops, and dulse seaweed sourdough. I'm starving. I've been waiting all day for this. It was challenging to bake in the Dutch oven, but I'm very happy with what I've got. And also, it was a challenge to cook such a large lobster through. I'm really pleased with the way it's turned out. It's just come out perfectly. I was a bit worried it would be raw inside the floor, but I think finishing it off directly on the coals, that did the job. And also give it a lovely like barbecue, just a faint charcoal flavour. It's amazing. So much meat in the lobster, so every little crevice has got meat in. The ones I catch at home, they're all just minimum size, and they're delicious, but they're just not juicy and satisfying. And this is amazing. When I have them at home, I just want more. Seafood at Outer Hebrides is just out of this world. There's so much life up here, there's so many shellfish when you walk along the beaches. So many different types of bivalve. And the beaches are quite literally just covered with shells. And obviously you see seals everywhere, there's blatantly loads of fish. It's just a fantastic marine ecology. For tail meat. Dip it in garlic butter. Oh, that's out of this world. I need to sit up to get this my full attention. And the garlic butter. I won't be eating again for at least 2 days. And Carla will get some of this as well. Not too much though, because seafood doesn't necessarily agree with that. Wow, I thought the claws were good, but the tail. So well cooked. Wow. That good? It's good. Do some work on that. The wolf likes the seafood. What do you think, Carla? So I think that was definitely the best Sunday lunch I've ever had, and it might well be the best meal I've ever had in my life. It was a real pleasure, and I've had a great time here in the Outer Hebrides. Love it up here, it's an amazing place. If you visit, don't spoil it.